Hey folks, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I'm Julianne Hoore, the bearded bombshell of the Scottish drag scene. Today we're looking at a brand new episode of Drag Race UK Season 2, Episode 8, and the Stoned Runway. Now, the Queens had the comedy stand-up challenge this week, which was quite controversial in terms of the lineup with Ellie Diamond, which I do want to address quite quickly. I don't see a problem with the lineup. Yeah, it's a shitty thing to do if you're that person who doesn't do comedy and you're either first or last. But it's a competition. What do you expect? With Lawrence going off, I can maybe see Lawrence maybe being a little bit more appeased if she was right after Ellie. But because she followed Bimini and she thought, oh, she's my friend, then she might have been pissed off from that. Whereas I think if she was right in the middle after Ellie, I think she might not have been as fussed. I don't know Lawrence's mindset, so maybe I am prejudging things and making up things in my own head about what may be conceived. Not a very happy Lawrence this episode, so Ellie really got a slap in the face from that, from both obviously Ahora and Lawrence. But even Tace, who's not a comedy queen, went last and was like, okay, let's go, give me it. Challenge accepted. So yeah, it's a competition, get over it, and at some point you might have to fuck over one of your friends. Moving on from that, straight onto the runway. First up we have is Ahora. Ahora looks so beautiful in this head to toe jeweled cat suit, which is stunning. I don't get why she's got an IV drip, although I do love that the IV drip is also dripping in jewels and stones, so that is a funny thing. I don't know if it's the IV drip is feeding her the stones and she's growing them out of her. It's a hard concept to kind of put together. And then the hair that she had with this look, I really disliked. I thought it looked awful. And yeah, okay, it's apparently Back to My Roots RuPaul video is the inspiration, just like Simone's hair was, but they're two totally different hairs and I can't exactly find Ahora's inspiration for this one. But it looks bad regardless. Either way, if the inspiration was the exact same, I still would think it looks rubbish. Is what it is. I do want to briefly discuss her photo shoot for this look, in which she has used a wheelchair as a prop as an able-bodied person. And she's getting a bit of backlash from this. As an able-bodied person using wheelchairs as props, it can come off as you're just kind of using it just kind of for the look and not really bringing attention to disabled community, especially even many disabled people can't even get into some of the gay bars, they're not that accessible, so that's another issue as well. And then you had queens like Trixie Mattel doing their Gypsy Rose performance, which really got her a lot of backlash. I think as entertainers, if we're going to use these items as props, there really should be a great deal of intention with it and not just a piece as part of a photo shoot. If you're using it as an able-bodied person and entertainer in particular, I think it really should highlight something about the community to really tell a story narrative, bring a subject to light, whereas Ahora here is just kind of used as a prop, just kind of bring out the look, is more stoned, obviously the wheelchair is stoned. Don't know. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. I would really love to have a discussion with you guys about this because it's obviously quite a sensitive subject. I'm an able-bodied performer myself, so I can't really say if this is offending disabled people and people who have to use wheelchairs, crutches or anything else. I would say maybe because she's got IV drip, sometimes hospital patients are taken around in wheelchairs even if they are able-bodied, so I don't know. Lots to discuss here. Let me know your comments down below, but nevertheless, regardless of the photo shoot, the look itself, it's a gag. Next queen up we have is Ellie Diamond, given as a very similar silhouette to her Ruru Vision kind of costume. Very Ellie. I've seen this on her a couple of times on her social media, not so much on Drag Race, just that one time with the Ruru Vision challenge. But yeah, this look looks stunning and she is covered in diamonds on the nude part on top. I love the stones coming from her hair as well. But I also love she just didn't go for the whole head to toe stoned. Like, she gave some variation, the sleeves being like a furry kind of fabric and a bit more dimension. Love that. She would look like an ice princess, which was fantastic. So totally in love with the look, although I do wish there was a bit more concept that we've had from Ellie before. This look kind of was just the look for the sake of the look, something that she probably repurposed from before. Ellie, no matter what, is shining bright like a diamond and has me gagged. Next is Bimini Bond Boulash, giving the most stunning look of zits and acne. This was hysterical, and I thought this was such a ridiculous look in its idea, but the way she took it was so brilliant. And it was also so fashion, like the oversized coat and trousers, shoes, the whole look was stunning. Classic Bimini, giving us something totally unexpected. And the fact that the zits had like variation in size, or like give it a bit more life, give it a bit more character. And then the red irritation around the skin, but not also just on the face, but on the actual suit itself, there was red around the spots there. I thought it was so brilliant. And then she had all the way down to the details of the shoe still had zits as well. Who thinks of that? That is just so incredible, so clever. She thinks of all the details. Bimini is one of those queens, you can tell she really stepped up her game from the first half of the season to this part of the season with that break that they had in between, and it is gaggy. Next up is our Glasgow queen, Lawrence Chaney, giving us alien Doctor Who, crystallized, stoned alien. Fantastic. This is so different from Lawrence's other looks. I think Lawrence does do catsuits, but like in terms of what she's done on the show, entirely different. It's so brilliant. The fact that she is pink head to toe, and that crystal headpiece that's continued in the shoulders and on the hips, although I do wish the crystals on the body were bigger to kind of play into her silhouette a little bit better. I would have totally have loved that, but nevertheless they looked great. I loved how it worked into the actual stones on the headpiece and in the bodysuit. So fantastic, so wonderful. You can tell there's so many details that went into this, especially with the crystals going into the contour of her makeup, all the way down to her shoes. It was so stunning. Lawrence Chaney has crystallized and is a glamazon ready for the runway, and it has me gagged. Next up we have is Tace, and Tace is giving us kind of a Mugler fantasy, very similar to Nikki Doll's Mugler armour set that she wore for the Kate's runway on season 12. And who did it better? Who do you think I think did it better? I would say Nikki did it better, because I think Tace is just a little bit busy, especially with the stones, although I do love the look regardless. The stones on the bra look really clever, like especially the placement of it, and then she has like strips of armour around it that's just plain metal. I think that was quite clever, but overall it's just a bit too busy for me personally in comparison, especially when you've seen one very similar by Nikki Doll. You know, she did it really flawlessly for the Capes runway. I do like the elements that she also played with in terms of perspex in this look, with plastic and again stones on that as if they're almost kind of floating as well. But that was quite clever and interesting, creating a visual eye for it. And the hair looked really stunning with this look, something different for Tace, but also still very Tace. When Alan Carr said it was like kind of Barbarella, I can totally see kind of more the space vibes, especially with the perspex on there, as I was mentioned previously. It does look fantastic. The tights are throwing it off for me a little bit. She used a white fishnet with stones on it, whereas I think a nude fishnet with stones on it would have been a lot better, because then you can just see the tights where they stop on her waist and you've got that white band going across. I'm just like, ooh, it doesn't look as great, whereas if that was kind of covered or blended into something that she was wearing on the top, then it wouldn't have been as bad. Nevertheless, you can beam me up to her planet any day and have me gagged. And that is it for the runway. Like 5 queens, like so close to the end of the season. 4 queens now left, as Ahora is unfortunately our queen to go this week, especially coming off of her win last week. Oh, such a shame. I really thought it was going to be Ellie in the bottom, going by the critiques opposed to Tace, because it seemed like Tace was getting jokes in, whereas they said Ellie was kind of going for the low-hanging fruit. And by just what the judges were saying, I thought she was really going to be in the bottom. But also, when Ellie was picking her order and she had Ahora and Tace at either end of starting and ending the show, I thought, oh, maybe the producers are going to go for the Ahora Tace, get them to lip sync their flatmates. They had maybe a little budding romance in the past as well, so I thought, okay, they're maybe going to get them to lip sync, and of course they did, and Tace wins the lip sync. Moving on to Gaggiest Gag, really it's kind of a toss up for me. I really can't choose between Lawrence and Bimini. I think they both did so incredibly well in this episode. In terms of their look, it was fantastic, and they both did great in the comedy challenge, of course. But in terms of the look, I just really can't decide. They both had a head to toe look and concept that was really unique and really kind of stepped out of their kind of own, what we know them for and what their own characters are. It really developed them further. Bimini has given us fashion, Lawrence has given us concept and character. Fantastic. Let me know in the comments down below who is your Gaggiest Gag. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to press that like button down below, subscribe and ring that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. If you want to check out more of me, make sure to check me out on all social media at Julianne Hoore. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye folks.